Welcome everybody to Beat the Shift Baseball. This is episode 127 for Monday, April 11th. My name is Alex Uwe. I'm here today with Farbod Markazi and Ray Estrada. What's up, guys? How you doing?
That definitely wasn't the first take.
No. Well, you mean it definitely was the first take?
Yes,
absolutely was.
That is what I meant.
Okay. Yes.
We haven't been sitting here for an hour while Uwe does intros.
Hey, listen. Too far the other direction. We're here. Look at us. A week or so after our first one of the season, we're gonna try to keep these flowing every week for you, and this will be like the same vibes. Casual baseball discussion. We will be talking about plenty of opening weekend overreactions, as well as contract extensions, a bunch of randomness. Like that. So let's go ahead and dive right into it here. At Beat the Shift BP on Twitter and Instagram, by the way, if you want to see what we have to say about games and stuff as they happen throughout the week. Okay, let's start with overreactions because everybody's in that mindset right now. None of us really truly deeply believe that these things are real concerns, but I don't know, maybe we do. Let's share some. Do we want to go around the horn? I know Farbod.
You can't say that. We'll get sued again.
What do you mean again? Listen, okay. You guys are very dramatic with our quality of intros and licensing. Don't worry about it. Let's just talk baseball, okay? All right. Farbod, I know you've sourced some interesting overreactions from other places with people who are way more intense and dramatic than we are. If you want to go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah, so I was doing a casual Google search because I was trying to find my own overreaction to answer this question, and I found a pretty bad article. I mean, I'm assuming the intent of this article on MLB.com is designed for humor, but some of these overreactions just don't even make sense.
It's all fan takes.
Yeah, but it just doesn't even make sense to put out there. But I'll share with a couple with you now. Number one, watch the Dodgers pull a Lakers. For those of you not from LA and not Laker fans or whatever, you're probably having a lot of fun watching this downhill slide of the LA basketball team. But I don't see a world, and I'm not a Dodger fan. Ray's the resident Dodger fan on this show. I don't see a world where that team can ever pull a Lakers, and it's just off of the overreaction of them hitting one home run at Coors and it was by Austin Barnes. Them dropping 3 out of 4, right?
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. So I thought that was a bad overreaction. This is just a weird comment. The Blue Jays are a social experiment to see how far a bad rotation and an amazing offense can carry a team. I wouldn't necessarily say the Blue Jays have a great rotation, but they don't have a bad one. And then on top of that, at least this article points out that experiment was conducted in Texas. The Rangers, at least for a long time that we knew them, were that team that their entire goal was to just hit you instead of beat you on both sides of the ball. So those are a couple of the bad ones. Is there anything else you want me to share, Rui?
From that, no, I don't think so. Yes, obviously huge overreactions because the Dodgers are one of the best teams in baseballs, and the Blue Jays have one of the best rotations in baseball despite a rough opening weekend.
I do have one more actually.
Yeah.
Too early to call Seiya Suzuki the best Cub of all time. I think it's pretty fair to say that doesn't even deserve our conversation.
I think it's a proper reaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know plenty of people that would tend to agree. Calling it now.
Why am I on this show?
Well, we have other
Farbod, you're critiquing hot takes when you had Buehler winning 30 games.
Hey,
ooh,
we're on our way. We got one. He's had one chance. Look, one of the reasons I had to make sure I was on a podcast today was I listened through the full thing, and Uwe knows this. Listened through our full podcast last time that I wasn't there for, and I wasn't able to defend myself. And I had the best takes of all of you. So I'm here to defend myself no matter what.
You did give us plenty to talk about despite your absence, so thank you for that. We have other overreactions. My approach, I think the next obvious stepping stone here is with rookies, right? And we kind of already said the one with say Suzuki, who, yes, is the best Cub of all time as of right now, with his home run and 6 RBIs and 2 runs scored, in an opening series. Yeah, really good. He looks good, but there's others who have either excelled or highly touted prospects like Bobby Witt and Julio Rodriguez, who kind of did nothing in that opening weekend. Maybe nothing isn't fair, but definitely struggled, at least at the plate, to start things off. I just mentioned the two biggest ones who, that's what it is. They struggled. Nobody doubts their abilities at this level. I guarantee you they will be fine. Let's talk about Stephen Kwan, because as of right now, as of recording this, he is the hottest topic on the face of the baseball planet. Partially
And probably
because
the hottest hitter so far.
absolutely, and his team, they wrapped up their series with the Royals, the Indians, did that is, and
Guardians.
oh, that's another good point. Is Indians Guardians mix ups?
He's the best
we'll get
Guardians
into
player
that.
of all time. That is an actual fact.
Yes, that is an appropriate take. I don't. Yeah, that's the first of many, I'm sure, Indians Guardians slip ups. But they wrapped up their series against the Royals today, the 4-game opening set, and Stephen Kwan capped it off with a bases clearing triple to make sure everybody knows the name. And yeah, if you haven't, or just for a little more context here too, 9 for 13 with 5 walks in his first 19 plate appearances, 0 strikeouts to start off his career. So, he's gonna play. Like this is not okay. Well, I mean, this isn't an overreaction at all, but he will play for them. He's earned that, at least in the early going. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm
here to
still
stay?
waiting to hear your reaction take.
My overreaction take is that he's going to play. That's my reaction. No, that is what it is. Everybody is talking about this guy as the new rookie to watch, and it might be true, but it could also be a case of
First week overreactions.
yeah. Well, why I'm forgetting his name now. The White Sox catcher from a year ago.
Yermin Mercedes.
Yermin
Vaughn.
Mercedes. Yep.
But no.
Is he Yermin Mercedes, or is he just the next? I don't even know who to compare him to. I don't know any other rookies who have had this kind of insane start to a career, and sustained it. So, yeah, that's a fair question. Is he Yermin Mercedes, or is he the real deal? I don't know.
I think he profiles a little differently than Yermin Mercedes. Stephen Kwan is a very high contact hitter. Has not swung and missed so far this year, while also reaching base 15 times in his first 4 games. So, I mean, I don't want to project how good he's going to be eventually, but Yermin Mercedes was not that profile last year, and had some other factors that contributed to him kind of falling off the face of the earth.
Like swinging 3-0 in the presence of Tony La Russa.
Yes.
Big mistake.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, that's enough Stephen Kwan. If you want more of him, you can look literally anywhere and hear all about him. Hunter Green, Reds pitching prospect, also pretty noteworthy. Had a really good start his first time out. 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. But the real
win.
Yeah, and the win.
And a win.
The real
He's on his way
story
to
is
30.
just the stuff. Like you have to watch it with your own two eyes because he looks like the best pitcher in baseball if you only watch his highlights. He dots the corners at 101 miles an hour at the fastball. He can spot up the slider. What else do you really need at that point?
He's in a category. He put himself in a category after that start with the 45 pitches that were 99 or like higher on the radar gun. He put himself in a category with pre-injury Noah Syndergaard, of just straight heat coming out of his arm. I personally threw him in this list and obviously he would have been in regardless, but I'm super excited about it. I remember coming into the draft, he was either a shortstop or a pitcher, and he wanted to try both. But I think that mission went away when the Reds were like, "Dude, you throw 99, you can reach 100 regularly. We're putting you on the mound." Um, I I'm just really excited to see his development throughout the year with Driveline. That's the Reds pitching development is all Driveline, and we've seen how they've turned around some pitchers and just really developed pitchers really well over in Cincinnati. So I'm excited to watch him pitch. I had him as my rookie of the year, and I'm liking how this first start is trending.
All right. I actually don't know for a fact if the Reds pitching coaching staff is still the Driveline baseball crew because that was
I want to
sure
say
a couple years
they're
ago.
not directly affiliated anymore.
No. So I'm sure a bunch of their guys have been poached throughout the league, but the Reds a couple years back did basically hire a bunch of the Driveline baseball.
Yeah,
folks.
this was a couple years ago though. I do not know currently what if that's the same or what is it. So okay.
Well, I'm assuming they wouldn't just let people walk, like they lose the entire development team. But
I'm just throwing it out there. This has been a thing.
You see what the Reds did this offseason? They easily could have done that with development.
That's fair.
Actually,
yeah, I'm excited for Hunter Green.
Yeah. Looks like was it Kyle Bodie, who I think is the founder of Driveline?
Yeah.
He left the Reds this offseason.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing.
Okay, so there we go. Take that, Farbod. Get fact checked. That's about it for overreactions. That's about it for rookie overreactions that I have. Do you have any other, Ray, that you want to share with us?
No, I don't have any
Okay.
overreactions. I mean, if you want one that I don't necessarily believe in, is that Julio Urias is going to be horrible this year.
Yeah, there's a number of players who we could just rattle off and say that for. I don't want to.
Can I touch on one thing on that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just on Urias; it's on pitchers overall. The worst overreaction I've seen from mainly general fans and not like a lot of diehards throughout social media has been, "Oh, he only went 5 innings," or "Oh, he only went four or whatever." Like, no, Robbie Ray went 7, but I don't think anyone who follows this sport and is like arguing this on social media and is at least realizing that the pitchers got a very late start to spring training, and this is technically like their 4th week of spring training. They're all still building up.
Yeah,
give them time.
the concern with Urias isn't not with his length. The fact that his fastball was sitting 91,
but that's all.
94 last year.
But that's also part of like the spring training process. I know there's been stories about
that's not a 4th week spring training.
No, that's true. But I'm saying this as a
in his velo too.
Yeah, I'm saying this as a general as a general take on fans overreacting to pitchers not being quite 100% there lengthwise. But I agree. I don't necessarily believe in Julio Urias being horrible this year, but it is something to watch.
Yeah, no, that's really it. Is we're getting spring training takes going into the regular season, and we're not used to that. sooner or later, Michael Conforto is going to show up in the best shape of his life, and the trend will continue with the spring training storylines. Just a little bit delayed this year. But yeah, we're all very level-headed sports fans for the most part. We are not the ones to overreact. So I'm sorry for maybe a lack of juicy, unbelievable takes here. We're trying. We're doing our best. Let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Let's have a little discussion here about contract extensions, which aren't the freshest off the table. Jose Ramirez and Ke'Bryan Hayes are probably the most notable ones to sign extensions with their team right before or like right on opening day this year, which is not like an actual deadline by any means. And we'll get into that with Aaron Judge. But Jose Ramirez, 5 years, $124 million, tacked on to his existing contract, so that'll start 2024. Good for him. He's probably worth more than that, but they locked him up. They did it. Good job. Ke'Bryan Hayes, maybe the same argument. This is a little different. He is a very, very unproven young talent for the Pirates, who signed him to their largest contract of any kind in franchise history for 8 years, $70 million. So we'll see if in short order, I imagine if this will end up being like a Ronald Acuna, Ozzy Albies type of fleece, or if it goes the other direction. Hayes did leave the first inning of opening day with a very minor injury. He was back the next day. He's been fine since then. He like tweaked his thumb or something diving for the ball.
The same wrist that he hurt last year.
Yes, it was on the same hand though. Yeah, as the wrist injury that he dealt with last year and a little bit in spring training as well. So, people all over Twitter and everywhere were like, "Oh my God!" Like, I apparently he hadn't signed it, or it hadn't been made official yet because it was still pending a physical. So people were like, "Are they gonna pull the deal?" And I'm just sitting here like, "There's no way the Pirates are gonna pull an 8-year deal for an insanely good value if this kid pans out to be anything better than a bust over a seemingly, and it ended up being the case, minor injury." And oh yeah, I'll go ahead and throw this out there too now that this year I've made it a goal of mine to use Twitter more. I don't know what's wrong with me for thinking that was a good idea. But yeah, and just seeing the seemingly genuine conversation about it, people were like, "This, like, wrist injuries are serious, man."
The other day.
Like, yeah, Brian Hayes is not going to be impacted over the span of 8 years by a wrist injury at this point in time. That's the main takeaway here. Is that I don't like Twitter, but I'm gonna stick to it. Okay, I'm gonna see it through there. Yeah, that's the context here. What were we talking about? I just got
Aaron Judge.
Extensions.
You were going to lead into that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So Aaron Judge is the most notable in the news who did not sign an extension and will most likely just be a free agent in the offseason and test the market, even though he's proclaimed that he wants to remain a Yankee. It's definitely not going to take any kind of hometown discount. I think the biggest, I don't know, deviation from the norm here was that the Yankees, Brian Cashman himself, disclosed the offer that they had made Aaron Judge, which, when do you ever see that? Like, yeah, a lot of times these things get leaked and reported on and shared regardless, but Brian Cashman just went out there and was like, yeah, we offered him in the range of like 7 years, $230 million, whatever it was. Like, he just gave the most recent offer that they had on the table for him. And it's definitely intentional. It's framed to make the Yankees seem, I guess, more reasonable in this context, because Aaron Judge kind of just hasn't proven, at least health-wise, that he can put in the body of work for a long-term deal going into his late 30s for that much money. And, I guess presenting that eye-popping dollar amount will will maybe show people that Judge might be they tried, right? That's the approach there.
So
We didn't,
as a
we
Yankee
gave it our best
fan,
shot, but
as
yeah.
a Yankee fan, what do you make of him choosing not to sign it?
Obviously it's his business. Like, if he thinks he can get more out there, sure, go ahead and try it out. He's gonna have to have a heck of a year to do that, because right now I don't think
It,
any team is eager to sign him for more than 7 years.
I think with him, yeah, I don't think people realize how old he is.
Well, he's
He was
30.
31. He's going to be 31 this offseason at least.
Hmm.
And this contract was what, 7? This offer was a 7-year deal. So it was going to
It
take.
was it was effectively 8 if you include this season, but yeah, so 7 years past
So
this
it
season.
would lead him into his age 38 season, $213 million. It is interesting that he basically said, I'm going to drop, like, so someone puts out a $213 million contract offer in front of you. But at the same time, it's maybe he just wanted to test out free agency, and it is a risk and gamble that he's taking. Like you said, he has to have a heck of a year to try to get more. Um, but he is probably going into a free agency class where he'll be the best outfield option for a team that's looking for power uh, and an outfielder, even if they're signing an early 30s guy. So depending on the season he has, it could work out well. But I also kind of see this as those type of players that leave leave extensions on the table with their team, and they get much less because of an injury, or like they fell off a little bit in that season, and it's just the biggest what if for them of like, man, I wish I signed that deal.
Michael Conforto
And
sends his regards.
and let's compare Aaron Judge to a 31 or he might have been 32 year old free agent this past offseason in Freddie Freeman, who the Braves offered 5 years when he wanted 6, 5 years at not 30 and a half a year, I don't think. Or might have been around there. Either way. And he took the longer option for slightly less AAV to go to the Dodgers because he wanted the extra year. Now you have the Yankees here coming with a 7-year deal past this season worth $30.5 million a year, which would make Aaron Judge by AAV the highest paid right fielder in baseball. And it seems a very reasonable deal. I'm not saying Aaron Judge has to take it, but I just don't like the way that he explained himself of like, yeah, I want to be a Yankee. I want to do this thing. And then the Yankees
So
come with the honestly, I mean, it seems like every time a team tries to offer a guy an extension, it's just an absurd, like, horrible, insulting number. Like
and
the
this is
Astros with
completely
Correa
fair,
last year. Yeah,
and
but
it
I think if you just want to test free agency, say that. Don't act like he. I don't think he tried his hardest to
I
remain a
completely
Yankee.
agree with you. I the only question I had then is, could this be, if the money's right, and I don't know, like Uwe said, I don't know if he's going to be able to get more in the offseason. What could this not be about money? Could this just be like a Yankee thing, or
I don't know,
like
man.
that?
It's always about
That
money.
well, no, it is, but they're offering him a lot of years, which is, like Ray said, something other free agents same age have argued for. They offered him well more than the Freddie Freeman one. They're offering him a good AAV, a lot of money. Could this be more than it is about the Yankee? Could this be more than money? And it could be like maybe the Yankees or Boone or Cashman or something like that.
No, I think it's definitely just about Judge. And yes, there's a lot of optics and manipulation going on here on the Yankee side for sure. But Aaron Judge has not done himself any favor in the public eye over the last month or so. First with the vaccination status situation, and now this seemingly overconfident perception of what his market value is. He's not coming across as the smartest player out there. So I do not want to defend Judge in that respect. I am not quite sure what is going through his mind, if anything at all. So sorry, buddy. Like, go play and go hit homers and do your thing. For the Yankees, at least for one more year, and then we can reevaluate where we stand on everything else. But I guess we'll see when they roll into Toronto.
What's
What happens?
what's more likely though? He signs an extension this offseason for about that amount, or he's on the trade block at the deadline.
No, he's not getting traded if the Yankees are contending. That's not gonna fly.
But if you trust my bold prediction, the Yankees are going to sell. So
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if they're in that mode, they're gonna trade him. It's pretty simple. The Yankees aren't stupid. The Yankees have been
yeah,
in similar situations where they've opted to sell. I mean, arguably last season, maybe it was a little overblown. Whether or not they were gonna to go the selling route at the deadline, but they went all in and bought because they felt they were in striking distance. So if it's close, they're gonna go for it. I hope that's an obvious point from a Yankees perspective. They still have a reputation, but
yeah. I'm
it'd
I'm
have
with
to
you,
be really
Uli,
bad.
though.
They'd have to be
Yeah,
really bad.
Uli, I'm with you on like I'm not sure what his market's going to look like. Like this might be the best offer he would get, especially in terms of years and AAV. Like you can probably get a shorter deal for more money, but I mean, 7 years of MLB contracts, fully guaranteed stuff like that. Like pretty. That's a pretty good offer. That's not the 5 year 160 Korea got.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, and
that's the main reason I asked that question too. There's so much. There's something else going on here in my mind, at least. He's
there
getting the
always
years.
is.
He's getting the money that everyone wants. It can't just be money right now.
Yeah, take to Twitter with the conspiracy theories, and
Oh,
we'll go from there.
yeah. Yankees Twitter will love that.
Oh boy. All right, now I have the Twins Mariners game open right now, and
One
Julio
second.
Rodriguez is live to bat. 1 second.
1 second. The Chicago White Sox are close to acquiring Frankie Montas from the Oakland A's.
Oh, how
That's from
close?
Univision.
I just got a notification on my phone. That's how close.
Nice.
Yeah. So
We will stay up to date here and see if anything develops through the rest of our show.
yeah, I'll when the actual details are out, I'll point it out. But that'll be interesting for the White Sox. The A's
Wait,
are
you said
completely selling.
Yeah. I
I mean, yeah, that's
First-
not a secret.
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
I love
At
it.
first, I thought you said the Cubs because I think I just heard the Chicago part, and I was like, "Wow, the Cubs." But no, the White Sox makes more sense for sure.
Yes.
It's possible. I'll do the same, reporting back on the result of this Julio Rodriguez at bat. Even though, I guess I'll mention to you guys that I'm a Twins fan now. So any previous notions that you had about me and my baseball allegiances, you should throw those out the window because I'm a Twins fan now. I'm gonna watch all of their games, invest most of my time in the internet fandom, in the Reddit and on their Twitter, and devote my life to that, at least for a week, and then we'll see from there. I'll report back soon, but the Twins are doing it right now, 4-0. It's a good time to be a Twins fan. Just wanted to throw that out there too. All right, let's go ahead and shift gears to Farbod's neighborhood, shall we? This is an obligatory part of the show, but we're gonna frame it a little bit differently. We're gonna do this every week with different teams, in a new segment. We're gonna roll with sliding by for now, and in my mind, I just picture Gavin Lux's graceful slide over this past weekend. If you haven't seen it, that's what I imagine. This
We already
segment
have like
embodies.
two top 5 gifts so far this season.
Yeah, it's been a great year for gifts. But anyway, the segment idea will be that we'll check in with different teams throughout the season here and kind of share what the big news is and give the insights for those that maybe don't follow as closely, as though you are as devout a fan as Farbod is with the Angels. So Let's
I
hand
hope
the
you're
reins
not.
over to you. And where do you want to start? Do you want to start positive or negative? Because there's lots of negatives to take away from the opening series for the Angels, but I'll let you decide if you want to start a positive or concerning
You
note.
start me where you want to. I do want to point out one thing before I continue. Um, like Uwe said a couple minutes ago, he is a Twins fan now. This segment will be um, his going forward, starting every week, where he basically joins the team's fan base once a week for a whole week. Their their Twitter, their fan Twitter, their Reddit pages, Discords, whatever you have it. He wants to fully um, insert himself into that fan base, kind of get the mood of the fan base, what they're thinking, what they want. So the first one's gonna be next week's podcast, where Ui's gonna report back on his time within the Minnesota Twins fan base.
Yes,
It's
this
like
will be
30 clubs in 30 days, but within the cesspool of Twitter.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I'm getting down and dirty with it, and this is going to be an educational experience. Is the goal? So I will report back here on the pod and with some outside of the pod stuff as well. So, yeah, if that sounds interesting, be on the lookout for that. But the
All right,
Angels
back to
this
the
week,
Angels.
I'm just gonna give you the name that you need to talk about, and I don't know how much you have to say, because he's just fantastic. But Shohei Ohtani has
Yes.
already done some incredible things. Let's start positive with the Angels.
Cy Young, but not MVP.
Hey, once again, we're going back to last week's podcast.
I need you to explain yourself on that one.
Yes.
Farbod.
Do you not realize the type of season I think Mike Trout's going to have? For backstory, we did our predictions podcast last week, and I wasn't there, but I texted in my predictions.
If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it.
Yeah, please go listen to that. But just to make a long podcast short, I made a prediction that Shohei is going to be the Cy Young, and Mike Trout's going to win the MVP. And they, without me being there to be able to defend myself, they just gave me so much crap, trying to say, how could you have Shohei as the Cy Young and not the MVP? Well, let me tell you, this is the type of season Mike Trout's going to have. I'm just gonna let you imagine it. I'm not even gonna give you numbers or what I think. As long as Mike Trout's
so
stomach,
you have nothing to defend.
His defense is Mike Trout.
Precisely. When Mike Trout's up in Mickey Mantle numbers, you'll know.
All right.
Okay,
Back to
so
Shohei.
Back to Shohei. No more tangents, please. So we want to start with the positive with Shohei and just the team. Well, he pitched very well to start opening day, 4 2/3, and this is where I brought up the frustration I had with the fan overreactions of why didn't he go further? They're not extended out very long right now. He went 4 2/3, struck out 9, was absolutely disgusting, and then a couple days later, even though his bat's a little cold right now, he laced a 119 mile an hour he laced a 119 mile an hour double off the wall as a hitter, and so he's just doing Shohei things. That apparently is the third player since 2015 to have multiple 119 plus mile an hour hits, and two of them are Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, and Shohei has multiple now.
Mm-hmm. He is good.
He,
Undoubtedly. So let's. That's about the
Indubitably.
extent. Indubitably, that's about the extent of the positives. Let's get into the negatives now. The Angels, not off to the best start, record wise or otherwise. 1-3. They kicked it off against the Astros, who are still very scary as a team. They can pitch.
they're
They
young.
got a good lineup. Yeah.
The Astros' young rookie shortstop, at least maybe is against Angels pitching, but he looks like they won't miss much of a beat with Carlos Correa leaving.
Yeah, add Jeremy Pena to the overreactions list there as well.
Yeah,
good call.
He was very good. He had it was cold his first game, but then after that he took off. Yeah, I mean, I think 1-3. If you're asking me if I'm depressed as an Angel fan or if I'm if I all of a sudden think the season's lost, I think you're crazy. Um, I think there's a lot of positives to take out of that series. Maybe this is just me twisting it, but other than the second game where the bullpen came in and just gave up 9 runs or something in the 8th inning, uh, overall the bullpen did fine. The starting pitching went 18 and a third, gave up 5 total runs. And it was the offense that was cold. Mike Trout is 3 for 13. He got a home run robbed, but Rendon is 1 for 9. Like, if we're losing 3-1 or 3-2 or 2 like games because we can't score, I'm not upset about it. I know the offense will turn around. It's if the pitching can continue, at least keeping teams under 5-6 runs, and that's what overall they did, except one game in a 4-game series. So I'm not too upset. If you're trying to make this all negative, yeah, there's things to not be happy about, but like Joe Adell's defense, but
Or just Joe Adell
or
in general.
his offense.
and his offense. He's like, oh, I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but
He started over 5 and 5 Ks, didn't he?
I think he's 0 for 8 with 6 Ks now.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Those
so
are Cody Bellinger numbers right there.
No, that you got double that to be Cody Bellinger.
That was spring training at least.
Yeah, and Joe Dell mashed a 400 something foot home run in spring training, so we just got to flip it.
Well, I'll
So-
take Cody Bellinger doing that stuff in the regular season when it matters.
Rest of season, Cody Bellinger, Joe Adell. Who are you taking?
Joe Dell.
Cody Bellinger.
I'm optimistic.
Shocker.
I'm taking the former MVP, not the guy who hasn't done anything. So
I'm taking the future MVP.
Boom.
Exactly. I mean, look, I don't know how much more in depth you want me to get on this. Syndergaard came out. He pitched ball. The only thing he didn't do was like miss bats, really, but he didn't give up any runs through 5 1/3. If the offense picks it up, I think you win 2 or 3 of those games.
So I'll just give you a couple questions that can kind of easily summarize the biggest takeaways here. Who is going to be the X factor for the Angels this season? Maybe not. It's obviously not the Mike Trouts or Rendons, like these guys that are there and supposed to do what they're doing. Ohtani, but maybe somebody who they will definitely need to have a very productive season for them to have any chance at all. And I mean, it could just be Joe Adell, which I don't know if that's.
I don't think it's Joe Adell. I think the first place I went when I heard your question wasn't a player; it was availability. Because we know tale is old as time with the Angels. If it's not pitching, it's because they were hurt. So that's the main X factor. But other than that, I would probably lump the bullpen together as a group. They spent a lot of money on the bullpen, about $90 million this offseason on the bullpen. A lot of it was to Raisel Iglesias, but that was deservedly so. But Tepera, other than the first game, he looked fine. Loop looks great. If that Archie Bradley gave up a couple runs in the last game, if the bullpen is solid, not like great, but solid, and just hands the ball over to Raisel, I feel pretty good about the Angels making the playoffs this year.
Okay. I mean, kind of cheated, but it's okay. That was a good answer. And then I guess the other question will be is just like who gives you the most anxiety on this team watching right now, day to day?
Joe Adell.
Okay, maybe second most anxiety.
Look, just to answer this, I don't think Joe Adell's a bad player. I think everyone is already out on him, and I think that's unfair. But I am getting a little disappointed by his day-to-day actions. I'm a little confused. Who gives me the most anxiety? I think once again it's the bullpen. They're the X factors, right? The most anxiety would probably be Kurt Suzuki because I don't think he's a major league level catcher, and I don't know why we still play him.
Okay, that's a good answer too. All right, I think that's about it. That's all we've got for today. I think we're gonna wrap there. Any games or anything ahead that you're anticipating this week that you're really looking forward to?
I mean, Dodgers Twins is just a really interesting matchup that obviously you rarely see. To have it be the second series of the years, it's kind of fun. Just like random like second
Yeah,
series.
good time to be a Twins fan. That may or may not have impacted my decision who to follow this first week, but I too am looking forward to Twins Dodgers for sure. How about you, Farbod? Any other series or matchups that you're looking at?
I kind of this is kind of a weird one. Obviously, no, this one's not weird. I'm looking forward to the Yankees Blue Jays. Just AL East matchup. I think Severino should be pitching this week. If I believe I got
Not
the
against
rotation
not against
order.
the Blue Jays though.
No?
He won't
Okay.
get the Blue Jays.
Anyways, I think the Yankees Blue Jays is a really intriguing matchup. For some reason, I'm really intrigued in how the Rangers Rockies is going to go. I'm just assuming offense, so I'm kind of excited about that. But maybe that's just my inner baseball fan instead of like the casual of being interested in that. And then Angels play the Marlins, and we don't get to see a lot of Marlins out here.
Farbod, did you see somebody posted on Twitter the lineup of both teams the last time they played back in 2017?
No, I didn't see that. It probably was disgusting.
It's hilarious. I didn't like. There's some dude named Fontana on the Angels. I had no idea.
Oh yeah. Well, the Angels are up 3-0 right now after a Brandon Marsh 3-run shot on the Marlins. So hopefully we
Nice.
continue that.
All right. Also, Luis Severino might get
I
the
do
Thursday game.
have one more
forgot it was
game
a
I'm
4
looking.
game. Yeah.
I do have one more game I'm looking forward to. I'm going to the Angel Marlin game tomorrow.
No, nice.
Ooh, let's
Yeah,
go.
my dad's and this is more of a conversation for off air, but my dad's company has some sweet tickets, so I'm gonna go live lavishly for a game.
Yeah, we're gonna need some
Sweet.
updates on that one for sure. Make sure you and take in the game and capture some good stuff for us while you're there.
Follow us follow the Beat the Shift Twitter account. I'll post a picture.
Yeah,
Shift BP.
that's how you do the plug. But yeah, that is gonna do it for us today. As they said, do the thing at Beat the Shift BP, and also make sure to subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. Just to make sure that you get notified when we upload new ones. So yeah, that is about it for today. Thanks everybody one last time, and as always, Farbod.
Peace. Joe Dell hit a home run.